Well, let's get a check at what's playing out with other markets that we track now. And yeah, talking about reactions, we're seeing overreaction over the weekend there. That's from investors in the crypto space. We're seeing Bitcoin, it did dip below the $100,000 psychological level, but managed to get back, above that. And we see Ethereum there, $2,250, down 1.5%, and just few pockets of green on the coin 360 there, with some stable coins showing XRP trying to hold up that $2 level. Let's get a check on some of the headlines there. We see Texas there, they've approved the Bitcoin reserve that the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, he signed the Senate Bill 21, creating the Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, the first state-run fund in the United States to invest public money directly into Bitcoin. The move positions Bitcoin as a long-term hedge against inflation and financial risk in the state's investment strategy. Then we see Coinbase also in the news that the trademark issue there in the EU. That's the EU General Court. They slapped down the latest attempt by Coinbase to have a Japanese exchange's trademark over the word Coinbase. That was revoked there. Coinbase was appealing an earlier decision that found that the US-based exchange had failed to prove that BitFly, the Japanese exchange, had secured a trademark over the word in bad faith. This week, the court agreed that Coinbase had failed to prove its claims. Then, talking about buying more Bitcoin, Meta Planet, they bought more Bitcoin there. The purchase, an additional 1,111 Bitcoin for approximately about $118 million, expanding its Bitcoin holdings amid growing corporate adoption of Bitcoin as the Treasury reserves there. According to a company filing on June 23rd, the Tokyo-listed firm acquired a Bitcoin at an average price of about $106,000 per coin, and definitely we're seeing Bitcoin, dropping below that 100,000 level, but still maintaining it back. So definitely a loss from that purchase for Meta Planet. All right, let's talk to Sheo Dania now, as CEO at Alpha Geek Technologies. Hello, Sheo.
Hi, Ladi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sheo. It's great to have you. So, definitely, I don't know what you'd call what we saw over the weekend there with Bitcoin selling off below the 100,000 level. Was it an overreaction? Hello, Sheo. I don't know if you can hear me. All right, we'll try and get Sheo back on there. I think we lost connection with him, but definitely it was a big reaction we saw for Bitcoin over the weekend, and definitely it doesn't help. This asset class trades 24/7. There are no breaks there, so we saw the reaction there with tension in the Middle East, and that definitely impacted Bitcoin. It did fall below that 100,000 level, but we saw a recovery. So, definitely the shorts from the weekend, if you're an investor that tried to short Bitcoin over the weekend, definitely you're in profit, at this point, seeing Bitcoin lose that 105, 104,000 level, and definitely that, once you see Bitcoin react majorly, the top cryptocurrencies, they take a bigger hit, because Ethereum, that dropped about 10%, over 10% over the weekend there, and still hovering around $2,250. So it was a major wipeout for major altcoins in the market. Definitely, we've seen some of these altcoins try to get back to their previous highs, but when there's a sell-off, definitely we see the altcoins take a bigger hit. Bitcoin could go down 5%, but with the altcoins, you see bigger drops of about 20, 40, 50%, depending on how risky that altcoin might be. And definitely there was a time where the meme coins were getting most of the attention, but that has definitely changed. So far with a big drop, we're seeing most of the meme coins there drop about 30, 40%. So it's hard, finding that safe haven, in this market. But the stable coins, they're supposed to play that role, when it comes to volatility in the market. And definitely we're seeing investors, try to run into safety. I don't know if we have Sheo Dania back now. Hello, Sheo. Do we have you now?
Yes, hi, I'm here.
Oh, fantastic. All right, Sean. So talk to me. What are your thoughts, the reaction with the market over the weekend?
Over the weekend, I think it's primarily been around the U.S. Ukraine. I mean, sorry, U.S. Iran uh, conflict. That's what has been affecting the market generally over the weekend. So a lot of people are trying to move to safer asset class as opposed to speculative assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum. But we're saying that as the day goes by, as the week opens, everybody's getting a clearer understanding. More businesses are taking advantage of buying the dip, which is buying more into Bitcoin, as we reported earlier on, which is supposed to be the ultimate reaction. But you know how the world works. Once there's a major news of certain or uncertainty, people want to move to a better asset class.
So, talking about moving to safety at this point, we're seeing that's for gold. Gold is not really moving much to the upside, at this point. So, is safety the US dollar or gold, in your opinion?
Cash is king. So during any, people know that there may be issues. Maybe if Iran decides, if they whatever it is that's going on affects oil prices and whatnot, people want to be liquid enough to go into those kind of commodities. Yeah, but a lot of people might want to go into gold, but usually when we have all these kind of issues going on, especially wars, speculatively, a lot of people want to hold cash, which will be the US dollar.
All right, thank you so much, Sheil Dania, there for giving us your time today. We'll definitely find time to drill more on what's playing out in this market. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you for having me.